Hi, you guys. It is Selena here again. Yes, I am here and I want to talk about my book, but I want to first tell you guys um, I've been away for a second. I stepped away for a little bit, helping a friend out who had surgery, and I had an opportunity to go to Texas. And with that opportunity going to Texas, I got a chance to kind of just refresh. And one of the chapters, one of my favorite chapters in the book In Search of You, is talking about giving yourself time. One of them, and then one's called Be Quiet. And those two chapters really, really, really resonated with me this week, actually, this whole week. And I'm glad I did it because I was able to, wow, I mean, like, you know how you need that clarification and that clarity of some things that are happening in your life? I got it. Yeah, I got it. And I feel so good about that. So I want to talk about a little bit about that. I want to also, like I said, um, talk about it in Search of You. Hey, guess what? We're on Amazon right now. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. And we're going to talk about how you can get a copy of this also. Now, before I get into the book, okay, In Search of You, okay, I think this is an ideal book with the workbook, okay. I think this is an ideal book for a group that is working on some improvement, some self-development, some reason. Hold up, you guys. Hold up. Okay. Had a little interruption. So, so I think this book would be great for a group. I really, really think this book would be awesome for a group to go through. The workbook has some real good info in it, good questions, you guys, and I'm going to go over them in a little bit. But like I was saying earlier, whenever I go to Texas, I love going to Texas. If there was someone if I really, really wanted to go somewhere, I think I would. It's kind of between Georgia and Texas is where I would like to live. Either Georgia or Texas would be the two places that I think I could settle into. But anyway, whenever I go visit my friend, she has a balcony, and it's not in the area where you can't see everything because it's a street right there because it's sitting on the front street, and it's got apartments right across from us and everything. And it just seems just so calming to sit on her porch. I mean, on her on her balcony. The last time I went, I actually sat probably majority of the time that I was visiting, I was on the doggone balcony. It was just a calming atmosphere. The weather was just right. There was like a small breeze blowing, and I mean, I was in hog heaven. I think I probably fell asleep several times sitting out there, just sitting out there in the quietness. Sometimes you have to do that. Sometimes you need to be quiet. Sometimes you need to take time out for yourself. And I was able to do that. I was able to sit down and kind of organize my thoughts and use my book to kind of see where I'm going and where I need to be directing myself, I guess, in other words. So with that, I really, 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 really enjoyed my time there. And even though I was taking, I'll tell you what I did do. I learned more about Texas traffic, okay? Because the requirement of one of her requirements was that she couldn't drive. So I literally drove her around town because she still had appointments to do. She still had stuff that she had to take care of. So I drove her around. So I actually learned a lot about Texas traffic, okay? Crazy traffic. People are just like out there, but I was able to do it. And I was just saying every day that we went out, I said, let us come back in one piece because we saw so many accidents. Sure that I was doing everything I was supposed to do when you're driving, especially in unfamiliar territory. When you're driving in unfamiliar territory, you find yourself like in some crazy places. So I was blessed that we went there. We went to all her appointments on time. We didn't have any accidents, even though there was near accidents. We didn't have an accident, and we were able to do everything that we needed to do. And when we finally got back, we had an opportunity. She was feeling a little bit better, so we wound up going to Oklahoma. Actually, I'd never been to Oklahoma, but I was able to go with her to Oklahoma, and it was so nice. Oh my God, that was so nice. I said, I definitely got to sneak up here again. We had a wonderful time, and that was her, like a treat for, taking, my time out and caring for her in that sense. And that's wonderful. And when you have friends like that, you want to keep that relationship. If nothing else, you want to keep that relationship. Me and her have been friends for a long time. My God. We went to high school together, and we didn't really interact in high school, but I knew of her. She played a lot of sports. And I had left here, went into the military, did my time in the military, 16 years. I moved back here in 1998. I think around 98, I moved back. And we wind up working at the charity hospital together, actually, at our charity hospital that's now closed together. And then we wind up working we went through the same National Guard. I joined National Guard. She was already there. And it was weird that we wind up being at National Guard together. Then we wind up working together again at the Youth Challenge program. And so we've been friends like that for a while. And so anytime, like if I wanted to get away or whatever, she's always inviting me. I also have another friend that lives in Texas that I go hang out with from time to time. So it's good to get away. And I guess I need to bring it right back around to what I need to be talking about. It's good to get away, you guys. I'm telling you, it's wonderful to get away. If nothing else, if you ever do anything else, get away from everything from time to time. I'm talking about a lot of things I just needed to kind of relieve, just walk away from, because I saw what it was doing to me. I saw all the things that I needed to do was not getting done because I was so focused on one particular thing when I have a whole mountain full of stuff that I had to do. So let's go on. As I said before, In Search of You is the name of the book. It's by Selita B. McCall, a disabled veteran, entrepreneur, talk show host, podcaster, author, and motivational speaker. Selita's experience as a survivor of military sexual trauma allows her to be able to assist others on their journey to finding their self-worth again. Okay? When you experience a life-changing event such as divorce, death, sexual assault, domestic violence, depression, financial hardship, and illness, how do you really cope? How do we really cope? How do we find the strength and the motivation to continue? This guide will teach you how to find that inner you that you have long abandoned. Okay? So that's this book right here. Now, it's a guide to finding your self-worth after life-changing event. Now, I told you, these are my favorite chapters in this book. One is called Be Quiet, and the other one is Give Yourself Time. So I'm going to talk about my favorites in here. I should have had it tagged off. Huh? Yeah, I like to make it hard. Okay, here we go. Be quiet. Be quiet it says, this is not a command. It's an action to self-reflect. Be quiet so that your mind can calm down. Be quiet so that your spirit can heal. Be quiet so that you can count the heartbeats. Be quiet so that you can feel the tension in your muscles relax. Be quiet so that the butterflies in your stomach can slow down their fluttering. Be quiet so that you can hear your subconscious speak to you. Be quiet so that you can visualize your reflections of your life. Be quiet so that you can hear the tears fall down your cheek giving you a chance to cleanse your spirit of all the negativity and washing away all the darkness in your soul. Be quiet and watch the birds conversate from the trees. Be quiet so that the unanswered questions can be heard and the answers found is what you were searching for. Can you really be quiet? Not just stop talking, but be quiet to hear you. I would suggest that you write down what you hear in your silence, evaluate it, and if you have to, go back and read it again. Okay, so we talked about being quiet. So let's see what it says in the workbook. See, this is the workbook. Now, I love to talk about this picture, you guys, because this is my sister. This is my older sister, and I love the way she looks. She's a survivor of cancer. We just found out that she has to go back after 4 years in remission. She has to go back on her medication. So this sister right here is a strong sister, and she is my dad right here. I'll fight for her. That's my girl right here. Okay. We're born like a day after each other. She's born on the 15th of February. I was born on the 16th, but in a different year. And we have so much fun. Matter of fact, I not too long ago got off the phone with her. And she makes me laugh even when I want to cry. She makes me laugh, and I make her laugh even when she's ready to cry. So if anybody that's my real true hero, this is my hero. I'm kind of getting, how they say it, clipped, just thinking about her. This is my girl right here. I took this picture of her, and I just looked at the ideal that, look at her expression on her face. Like, I've been there, and I'm still here. So, and I always tell her, you're going to be here for a long time. And we'll say to each other, we'll be thinking about each other, and she'll say, I was just thinking about you. I was going to call you. And I say, see, she said, you're going to live a long time. So we say that to each other all the time. I'm telling you, if you have a sister or friend, treasure their relationship, because it's so important that you treasure the people that are close to you. I'm telling you, if anything was to happen to this young lady, I promise you guys, you'll probably not see me for a long time. I'm shutting everything down because this is my girl right here. That is my girl. Okay. Sorry, I had to get that out. So this is the workbook, and this workbook was designed to assist you in identifying who you are and gives you the opportunity to examine your purpose. It is also provides you ways to maintain yourself within when situations become difficult. Okay. Now, so let's go over here to be quiet. We just read about be quiet. So let's go over here and look at what does be quiet mean. Okay. Here we go. So one of the questions that I said be quiet meant was, I said, let's do this. Define be quiet from your perspective. How do you see, even though you read it in a book, what does be quiet really truly means to you? How does that really resonate with you? Okay. From your perspective, what does it mean to be quiet? Okay. Number 2 says we all need a be quiet moment. When do you give yourself a be quiet moment? If so, how do you feel afterwards? If you do give yourself a be quiet moment, how do you feel afterwards? You know. Number 3 is be quiet can mean many things. Name 5 things that will lead you to your be quiet time. Think about that, you guys. Wow. Let's see. Number 4 is when you be quiet, make sure to journalize that moment. Okay. And number 5 is, did you find this moment difficult to maintain and why? So you break it all the way down and answer that for yourself. That's why I said this book will be wonderful for a group of people. And you guys, I don't know if you can see that. Oh yeah, you can just see. This is another picture I took of her. And I love that picture of her. It's like she's walking and she's got her head down. And she's actually, we were at a beach in South Carolina. We took that picture. So I think this is such a wonderful picture of her. I'm talking from a photographer's mindset, okay? Okay, so those are the 5 questions that you have to answer for Be Quiet. And you can discuss it. And you know what I advise you guys to do? I don't know if you've ever seen one of those erasable pens, because you know you can change your answers in here as you go. Even though you read the book, the questions, you can always go back through there and re-answer them in a different way. And get different answers from, get a different perspective of how you would answer these questions. I mean, I think it's a wonderful way of doing it using erasable pens in here. You can do it because I've done it already, okay? Now, let's talk about the next favorite chapter in here I like. The next one behind Be Quiet is give yourself time. Give yourself time to think, to heal, to love, to cry, and to make mistakes and then learn from them. Time is important for many reasons, and those reasons will play a role in your journey to love yourself. Time can be your friend or it can be your enemy. It's all up to you. Giving yourself time to think. Your thoughts can affect how you feel about what you want, who you want to be, and where you want to go. Thinking can also give you a reason to make changes in your life if those changes are needed. Thinking has a way of allowing self-inventory and self-discovery to take place. Thinking can also give you power to make decisions that will help you feel complete. Your thoughts are so important and relevant that you have to realize that they can become the major reason you either remain the same or you become elevated and change. And lots of times it's hard for us to do that when we're so used to doing things one way and different things happen in our lives and they change and we have to adjust. Some people are good at adjusting and some people are not. And so because you're not, you have to find a way to want to adjust. You get advice from other people. You talk to your mental health professional, whoever you need to talk to let them help you guide you into that decision of wanting to change, if that's what you want to do. Some people like to remain the same. Nothing changes in their life. They're still the same. They don't learn anything, and they're still crying the blues, and they're still wanting you to feel sorry for them when they haven't even taken the steps to move forward and change something in their life. You only can do so much for someone. And I had to learn that myself because I'm the type of person where I want to help everybody. And, I want to help everybody. And sometimes you just can't help everybody. Some people, you can only do so much with so many people, okay? Time to heal. We just talked about thinking. Let's talk about healing. Time to heal. You honestly need to have time to heal from all your hurts, okay? And that's important. I think that's so, so important because a lot of times when we're hurt, we try to find other things to take the place of the hurt, to substitute or separate ourselves from our hurt instead of going through, getting it over with and moving forward. I think we all should feel any emotion that we have. I don't think we should avoid it. I think we should feel it, whether it's angry, whether it's crying, whether it's screaming at the top of your voice. I think you should get it all out. I think it's so important that we get all of those different emotions out, because what happens is when you start holding all those emotions in some way, shape, form, or fashion, they're going to explode. So it's best to go ahead and let them go through their process. Remember, we talked about, if you listen to my You Are Loved podcast, I talk about the problem, the process, and the solution. The problem is your anger. Go through the anger. Some situation happened where you got angry. That's the situation. You need to go ahead and feel that. Go through the process of feeling what that anger is, and then you move forward, okay? Then you move out of it. The solution is I need to move forward in my life. I can't stay here. I got to move forward. I got to move on. I got to make things happen, because if I don't, I will get stuck. And as a matter of fact, I put up on You Can't Clip My Wings, I put up one of a saying that was talking about how we need to not be stuck when things happen or mistakes. Something about mistakes. I can't remember what it was, but you'll go over to You Can't Clip My Wings and see it. Okay. It says a bad breakup, a loss of a job, broken friendships, family problems, and financial issues. Healing is very much needed, especially when so much is going on. I personally had to really work hard on healing, especially after I was raped in the military. I didn't think I deserved to heal, that blaming myself was my punishment. So I kind of found myself always blaming myself for what happened. So healing was not in my book at the time. It wasn't on my radar to say, Celine, you know what, you need to move on. You need to get the help you need and get the healing from the help. Well, at the time, I didn't see that. When I realized that I no longer have to feel guilty because I was feeling guilty about what happened, I started to heal. Timing was everything. It took me many, many years to heal. It took me many, many years to say to myself, it's not your fault. You didn't do anything wrong. It's not your fault. Okay? Timing was everything. It took, okay, I just read it, okay. And then I said, I was about to get married and I felt that I didn't deserve to be loved enough to have a husband and a happy life because I was still not healing. I wasn't healing, okay? Then I said, but time allowed me to heal and be happy during my marriage. When a tragedy such as rape, it's a different type of timing that is needed to heal because you have people who still suffer from some type of tragedy that happened in their life, like rape. And they're still trying to struggle. You can't push them to it. You have to gently guide them. And that's going to take professional help, and they have to want that professional help in order for it to take place. It says so many things have to take place, and I just said it, okay. So much has been taken away from you. The main thing that was stolen is your power. When something like this takes place, your power is being, your essence, who you are, has been stolen from you. You have to figure out how you're going to get it back. It says you find yourself spending many years trying to regain it, okay? This is why we have to go through the process, okay? Everyone's story is different. Some people are still in the process of healing. Some people haven't started the process, and they've never gotten to the point where, okay, this is the problem and I'm stuck at that problem. I'm not going to move forward to go through the process to find the healing so I can move on with my life. Okay, and that's how I look at it. Sometimes people, you can't force people into that process. They're not ready. So you have to leave them where they are, and when they're ready and they want to really move forward, they're going to move forward and they're going to move through that problem, and then they're going to come to that solution. So we have to learn sometimes, and that goes for me. I'm being honest with you guys. Sometimes I keep having in my mind that people think the same way you think. Okay, let me say that again. People think the same way that you think, and people do things the same way that you do them, when reality is no. That's not how it works. Everybody is not at the same level of healing as you are. You don't know that. You just want to see them smile again. You just want to see them happy again. You don't like to see them down. You don't like to see them feeling like they're hopeless. You want to see them smile. You want to see them move forward, but you can't force them because some people haven't even gotten to the point of the healing. Some people haven't even recognized that they have to go through the process. So you have to sometimes leave people where they are, and you cannot push them. They have to go on their own, and they have to ask for help. Most people, they don't want to, they really don't, some people don't like for you to be, in that part of them. Even though you see what it's doing to them, you can't push all what you know on them. You can't do it. Even though you want to, because you want them to be where you're at. But lots of times people are not there yet, and you have to understand that. Everyone's story is different. Some people are still in the process of healing. Some people haven't started the process. They spend more time avoiding the inevitable, okay? And we're just identifying it. We're not saying that's how everybody is. That can happen. It says some become comfortable in their misery, and that is why we have to end this cycle and begin to heal, because they get comfortable in it. And when you're around them, you figure out that they're just as miserable just miserable. And after a while, let me tell you about people's energy. You have to be careful who you have around you. You guys have no idea how important it is to have the right people around you. It is so important because it doesn't take anything for somebody to change how you think. It does, especially when you're vulnerable, especially when you are a person where you're just learning how to interact with people. Not to say you don't know how, but it's a new set of people that you're actually interacting with. And you're looking for a friendship, or you're looking for a companion, or you're looking for someone, just that you can hang out with or talk to. You got to be careful because sometimes people show you one side of them and you never see that, and then they surprise you with another side. It happens all the time. I could probably come off like that sometimes. You see me one way, and it's not anything that's, oh my gosh, ooh. No, some people are like that. And accepting people the way they are sometimes can be hard for other people because that's not how, like I said before, we have to stop putting in our mindset that people are just like us. I expect you to do we got to stop doing that. And we do it. It's just a human nature that we do that. But sometimes we can't do it because it can be very detrimental. But just be careful of the people that you have around you. Because some people carry some bad energy and bad spirits. That's why lots of times I'm at home with my bad spirits. No, I'm just kidding. But majority of the time, I'm at home unless I have to go do something. If I have to be out in the open, I'm out, do what I got to do, and then I'm back in my house because I basically have everything I need right here, unless it's food, okay? Like I said before, some people become comfortable in their misery, and that is why you have to end this cycle and begin to heal. You've got to move on. Trying to get someone, and I'm trying to figure out, there was a person that I knew, and I don't care how many times I was talking to that person and I was trying to be motivational, trying to be inspiring, that person found everything wrong. After a while, you guys, that can drain you. Listening to everything, this woes me constantly all the time. You tell them the sun is shining, they're saying it's only going to stay there for a little bit, it's going to rain in a few minutes, and there's no rain. Okay? Or let's see, that bird is flying in the air. Oh my God, that bird is getting ready to come and swoop down and scratch me in my eye. No, the bird is not. The bird is not thinking about you. I've actually had people like that around me, and I realized how draining that energy is. So you have to take yourself out of those relationships. You have to, you guys, because I'm telling you, especially when you're in the process of trying to heal, you do not need that action, and you don't need that part of you. You don't. Okay. You deserve the time to love. Loving yourself should be the first thing you learn to do, no matter how long it will take. Loving you has to be a priority. And you guys, I cannot stress that so much, especially when you haven't been doing it already. Especially when you haven't been looking at yourself and feeling love and you're not comfortable with yourself. It is so hard. I take it from experience. I come on here, I pour myself out on my podcast, and I pour myself out when I come live on you. You guys, it is a ever revolving situation when it comes to loving ourselves. We come off like we're so self-assured, we're so, oh yeah, we can do this, but in reality, you guys, we are just like everybody else. We're vulnerable at times when we don't want to be. We cry when we don't want to cry. We get angry when we really don't mean to be angry. All of those things come from either a situation that you've been in, something someone has done to you, and you really don't know how to handle it. You don't. You don't know how to move forward with that. And you feel like you don't love yourself enough to recognize that this is not how it's supposed to be. So that's why it's so important to love yourself, no matter what is going on. Love yourself. Love yourself. Because it just amazes me how we get in these relationships, okay? And I'm not just talking about friendship relationships. I'm talking about relationships with males, having a boyfriend or a girlfriend. We get in these relationships and we know that we're not all together. We already know. But we're begging for someone to love us. And we do everything in our power to just love me, love me. In reality, how can you ask somebody to love you when you haven't loved yourself? Somebody put a question on Facebook in one of the groups that I'm in. And the question was, can a good woman fix a broken man? And I said, let's rephrase that question. You used the word broken man, but you didn't say a whole woman. You said a good woman. So when you didn't identify her as being whole, how can she fix a broken man? She's got to be whole first. So she's got to love herself. She has to be self-assured of who she is before she can, quote unquote, fix a broken man. Somebody said, yeah, they can, but I don't agree with that. Because two broken people together doesn't make a whole person or a whole relationship. You both got to be fixed. Two whole people make a great relationship, not two broken people. Now, you can be broken and seeking help to become whole. Somebody's teaching you how to become whole, but you can't be two broken people and make a relationship. It doesn't work. When you look at it spiritually, when you look at it emotionally, it doesn't work. It's turmoil on top of turmoil on top of turmoil. You hear people always hollering and, being angry, being mad. They have an aggressive relationship with their husband or wife, and all they do is fight, fight, fight. That's two broken people. Two broken people trying to jockey for control, if you want to say it like that. He's broke, she's broke. Because if they were whole people, emotionally and spiritually whole, it wouldn't be that. You stand beside me. You don't stand behind me. I'm not in control of you. You're not in control of me. We're together. So we're walking this journey together. We're walking this journey of life together as a husband and wife, boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever. We're working things out together. But when you're two broken people, you can't do that. So that's why it's so important that we love ourselves first. We cannot love anybody else if we're not loving ourselves first. And sometimes that's hard for a lot of us. We don't want to admit it, but it is hard sometimes to love ourselves. And then we get in this mindset that somebody else can love me and fix me. And he got to love me. He got to tell me he loves me. No, baby. If you don't love yourself first, him loving you really don't matter. That's why you continue to complain. That's why it's so much drama. It's because you haven't recognized that you need to love yourself first. Nobody can love you. Nobody can put that in you but you. And that's what we do sometimes. We don't recognize how important it is for us to make us priority. And in our priority, we need to love ourselves. We often make decisions that don't give us time to think it through before we call ourselves, quote unquote, in love. Our very need to be loved has us making many mistakes, incorrect clues, signs, actions, our thought processes, and our very own definition of love, which can have us hurt and disillusioned, depressed, and not really feeling anything resembling what love is supposed to be. That's because we're not loving ourselves first. So if I love myself first, then I don't have a problem loving someone else because I know what it is to love someone. I wouldn't have no problem at all loving somebody else because first and foremost, I recognize that I love me. And nobody can love you like you. That's just not possible. You can't. You have to love yourself first. When you take time to love yourself, you can easily love others and find satisfaction in all your relationships. Because of the fact you finally put yourself first. You gave love to yourself first. Now you're able to go out there and love somebody else. Before you love anyone else, wow, this is right on time, you must love yourself. I'm going to say that again. Before you love anyone else, you must love yourself first. Okay? My struggles with loving me had to stop when I realized blaming myself for what happened to me was the reason I couldn't love me. I hated myself. I blamed myself because of what happened to me. It was my fault. You see how I dismissed everything but what was really true. It wasn't my fault. So that kept me hating who I was. That kept me in crazy relationships. Because guess what? I was trying for someone else to fill that void. And that is not what I should have been doing. But I was doing it. But if I loved myself, I would have known it wasn't my fault what happened to me. I need to move on to a certain extent. I need to heal. And I need to love myself so that when I do get into relationships, that I'm able to love the correct way. Okay? It got easier when I took a moment and looked within myself. And when I could say, I love you to me, and that I was worthy of love, things started to change for me. So I did two things. I got in the mirror, and you can do the same thing. I got in the mirror, and I said, I love you, Salida. And I said it over and over again to myself, because if I wouldn't have said it over and over again to myself, I would still be back in that misery that I was in. And I'd still be climbing through situations after situations, depression hitting in, the anger, the disillusion, all those things would still be going on if I didn't take a stand and say to myself, I love you. And then I said, I am worthy of love. That means I am worthy of someone loving me. Someone literally, really loved me. I'm worthy of that. And when we don't do that, you guys, I'm telling you, it's so hard to love anybody else. We are so insecure. We are so disconnected from our own selves. That's why we go through a lot of things. That's why we go through so much misery. We get in relationships where the person we're messing with, they don't love themselves. You can tell by the way they treat you. They don't love themselves. So you don't love you, broken. He don't love himself, broken. And then you holler, you love. I love you. Huh? But majority of the time y'all fighting and arguing, being angry, and not resolving your issues because you don't love yourself. Because if you loved yourself, you would treat yourself differently. And in return, when you treat yourself differently, you start to treat others differently. So I'm just saying. So I became empowered and I was ready to make the leap and love someone else with all of me. Not half of me, but all of me. Oh, I have to call that number back. I'm sorry, you guys. I called back. Okay, I'll call that person back. All right, so, and now, allowing yourself room to love you is such an important step in giving yourself time to improve yourself. Because once you love yourself, the improvements come in. You feel better about yourself. You want to do different things. You want to, all of those things start to play and, become an action. Because now I love myself. So I know the things that I were doing that were bad habits, I'm no longer doing those things. I'm no longer feeling bad about myself. That's a bad habit that we have. One of the things I had a bad habit of is when people give me, and sometimes I still do it, people give me compliments. Because of the way I felt about myself, a compliment was like, I don't believe you. I don't trust what you're saying about me. I don't really think you like the color of my eyes. I think you're just saying that because you feel sorry for me. But if you love yourself, you're going to say, well, thank you. I'm glad you like my eyes. Because now you feel confident enough. I love myself. So I'm very proud. With all our imperfections, some of us, like I talk about myself a lot. I talk about myself in the sense I'm joking a lot, but I talk about myself. I got a big nose. I got this big nose I have an uncle named Uncle Fred, and I look at Uncle Fred sometimes. He passed away. But he gave me my nickname, Squirrel. And I said, oh my God, I see where I get my big nose from. I get my big nose from my Uncle Fred. Okay? And I say, I got big lips. Yeah, I got big lips. I get my big lips. My mom has big lips. Who else got lips? My mom. I got lips like my mom. Hey, I like them. I can't take them away. I'm not going to do nothing to them. I can get my nose done. I can get my lips done. But I'm happy with me. If I didn't stand in the mirror and say, Sarita, I love you, I would be shamed. And when somebody gave me a compliment, I would like, oh, no, that ain't real. Okay, if you say so. We feel uncomfortable receiving compliments. Okay? Now, let's go on. And lastly, give yourself time to cry. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. You got to give yourself time to cry. Let me tell you something. Do not ever be ashamed to cry. I don't care what the situation is, cry. When you get my age and you're going through the change, we cry about everything. If anybody can witness out there, hear me talking, let me know. We cry about everything. We just do, okay? I could be watching something. Now, I'm going to tell you what I can't watch. I can't watch a lot of army movies. Movies with wartime movies, movies where there's wars. I can't watch those movies. I can't watch them. And I try not to because they do something to me. Matter of fact, I'm in a group on here on Facebook, and it's the Operation Just Cause group, Panama. And some of the guys still have like a lot of pictures. I don't think I took a lot of pictures of the barracks and the areas that we lived in, but I was looking at the area where I was at. I was stationed at Fort Clayton, Panama, and some of the guys literally still, they have pictures up that show all that stuff. And I found myself going back to Panama, and I found myself crying So lots of times when it comes across my timeline, I won't read it right then and there because I know that feeling is coming. And a lot of the people that I know, a lot of them passed away, and it just a flood of memories come, and I just start boo-cooing. One day, it was so weird. Oh my God, this was so weird. Real quick, talking about crying. Me and my son was sitting down, and we were going through the different places. We were talking about the different areas we were in because he was in Japan, and the different equipment we used. He was telling me about on the boat because he was on a ship, his type of job that he did. And we were sitting there. We were actually going through all the equipment and the different things that we touched. I told him about the fuel system supply point that we used to set up the generators. Like, I know a generator, okay? Refueling aircrafts, hot and cold refueling. I was telling him all those different things. And as we were looking at videos of it, a flood of just everything came back on me, and I just boo-hooed. And he just looked at me like, "Why are you crying?" Because I didn't realize all the emotions, and it was a healing cry. It wasn't a cry of, it was more of a bringing back memories. And if you guys know anything about PTSD, these are processes. These are things that happen when you do suffer from PTSD. You have flashback. You have those memories that come back and forth, and they do make your emotions are different. Emotions not the same. Everybody don't cry. Some people laugh. Some people get angry. Well, I found myself crying, a lot about some of the things that I went through in the military, and he was just shocked that I was crying. Like, Mom, we're talking about a good time, but it touched me different than it touched him. He saw something different from what he went through opposed to what I went through in the military. And at the time I was in the military, he was a baby. So, he was a little kid. So he wouldn't remember a lot of things. He remembers a lot of things, but he don't remember because he wasn't at that time in that same situation. So those times come. So getting back to giving yourself time to cry. It's important to cleanse the spirit and the soul. There's no specified time to cry. Remember, I told you we cry out of the blue by thinking. When you think things, memories, flashbacks, you cry. So there's no specific time to cry, but I will advise you to cry for a time and then move on. So I cry. I sometimes talk about it, and then I have to move on. I needed that. Sometimes there's cries that just happen, and then there's cries that are needed. And there are cries of healing, okay? Cries of cleansing. You're on a mission to find yourself. So crying can give you a clear path on your journey. While you're crying, concentrate on what, why, and who you are crying for. What are you crying for? Why? And who are you crying for? Are you crying for yourself? Are you crying for your dog? Are you crying for your cat? I was crying for a memory. I was doing the crying. What was I crying for? A flashback, a memory of something that happened. And I was crying for myself. Okay? We find out that timing is everything, and it gives you time to think, heal, love, and cry. It's nothing to be ashamed of, especially when you're in the process of finding yourself. Okay? So those are my two favorite chapters in this book. And let's see what the workbook says. Giving yourself time. It says, define time from your perspective. That's number one. Number two, in what ways would you give yourself time to think, heal, love, and cry? Then I want you to explain each one. Like I said, you can change them. If you get you one of those erasable pens, you can erase them and change them anytime you want. Number 3, name some things that will prevent you from giving yourself time. Your job, time, doing, taking care of the kids, the dog, the cat, the honey. What would prevent you from taking that small smidget of time out and being able to cry, being able to think, being able to love and heal? Those are all things you need to do for yourself. Okay? Number 4 is, how important is time to you? How do you see time? Because it might be important to you, but it might not be important to somebody else. So how do you see time? How important is it to you? Number 5, do you think that others allow you to give yourself time? Why or why not? Some people are very selfish people. They don't care if you need time. That's not relevant to them. They want what they want when they want it. Okay? It says, and then it says, are you too busy? Okay. Okay, that's another whole chapter. So it was 5 questions to that one. Define time from your perspective. In what ways would you give yourself time to think, heal, love, and cry, and explain each? And number 3, name some things that prevent you from giving yourself time. Number 4 is, how important is time to you? And number 5 is, do you think that others allow you to give yourself time? Why and why not? All right. So if you guys want a copy of this book, these books, okay, together they are $22.99. You can go on Amazon.com and order them. Okay. I really, really would love for you guys to do this as a group. I would love for you guys to read it as a group and then fill it out as a group. If you know somebody else will be interested in going through this book, let me know, hit me up. Now, a signed copy of this book is, for both of these, is $27.99. But you will get them from me. So you can go to you can't clip my wings, one whole word, okay, .com. Send me an email. Let me know that you want a copy, a signed copy. Okay, I got a stack of signed copies here, and then you can order them on Amazon. Okay, these books, I'm telling you, I'm so glad I did them. It took me a while to do this, but I know there was a need for it because at the time I was going through something, and this book not only helps you guys, it helps me too. And I'm still. Please, you guys, I am still in the process. I am not perfect, but I am determined, and I want to help other people do the same thing. Okay? So, now, you can go to Amazon.com under In Search of You, and you can get a copy of this. Or you can either get the workbook by itself, or you can get this book by yourself. Either way it goes, they belong together, and I think they work better together. So, if you want a copy, go to Amazon. If you want a copy from me, a signed copy from me, you definitely can go. You can hit me up at info@youcan'tclipmywings, one whole word, .com. Okay? Or you can hit me up on You Can't Clip My Wings, send me an inbox message on Facebook and say that you want a copy of the book, and I'll get it to you. Signed copy. But other than that, you can go on Amazon and get a copy unsigned. Okay? And that's going to be $22.99 plus tax. And you know how Amazon works. We're not in Amazon Prime yet, but we will be eventually. Okay? You can get a copy of this. You can also check out my podcast, You Are Loved. Matter of fact, I did a episode this morning. We were talking about failure. How do we no, not failure. Failure was Wednesday. Today we talked about inner peace. So this is right on time. We talked about inner peace on there. And we're talking about 22 things we can do to gain inner peace. Matter of fact, Monday we'll finish it off. But if you want to go listen to it, you can go on our Facebook page, and there is a You Are Loved picture, and it has the link that you can go to and listen to some of our episodes. We're on season 4 now. And if you want to do like a one-on-one with me, if you think that I would be a great candidate for speaking engagement, talking about my book, talking about other books, please let me know. I don't mind doing those too. Because I know right now there's a lot of hurt out there. I really, truly do understand that there is a lot of hurt out there. So much going on right now. And sometimes, you guys, you know what I would like to advise you to do? Tune out of Facebook for just a little bit. Tune out of Twitter. Tune out of Instagram. Tune out of a lot of this social media. Because I'm telling you guys, you got to be disciplined, because this stuff is, I have a lot of people that their posts come across my timeline, and I can hear it in them that they're kind of burdened with all this craziness that's going on. We're still in the pandemic. We had this hurricane that just hit our area. So it's so much going on at the same time, and we're trying to, like I said, we're trying to just find ourselves. So that's why it's so important to just take 5 or 10 minutes away from everything. And I don't know if you can see that. You see what that says? Create your own story. It's one of my cups. I love it. Take some time out and be with yourself. Take some time out and say to yourself, I love you. I love you, Roxanne. Okay? I love you, Rochelle. I love you, Tracy. Whatever your name is. Say that to yourself. And say it over and over again, because I'm going to tell you right now, it's so hard when you're not in practice of saying that to yourself. It is really hard. And you've got to learn how to do that. You've got to learn how to say to yourself how much you love yourself. Because nobody can love you like you love you. Nobody can. And if you don't love yourself, you can't expect anybody else to love you the way that you love yourself. And then what you do also is, when you don't love yourself, other people can come in and love you the way they want to. And it's not always a good way. They can mistreat you. They can abuse you verbally, some mentally, and sometimes physically, if you don't love yourself. So, I'm going to come back again, because I'm going to push my book. That's what I'm supposed to do. I'm pushing. Look, I'm supposed to push my book. Okay? So, see these two right here? And it's the workbook that you're going to need in In Search of You. And look at my pretty picture on that. See? Did I put my picture on? Oh, same picture. On the back. Okay? And I noticed something, you guys. I'm going to confess something. I spelled, yeah, I did. I spelled one more wrong in there. I just noticed it. Well, I added that extra word. Oh, well. That happens. But anyway, so if you want a copy of this, please, please, please hit me up. Don't forget to go to our website, youcan'tclipmywings.com. Check out my latest blog. I'm working on a newsletter. I want to thank each and every person who's actually subscribed to the website. Thank you, guys. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Made me feel proud. Yes, you did. Okay. So, I'm going to go ahead and let you guys go. It's Friday evening. I know you guys want to have a good, what time is it? Oh, it's only 5. I thought it was later than that. Oh, okay. I know a lot of you guys probably getting off work. And a lot of you guys, when I say get off work, some of you guys are right at home doing work. Okay. And you, matter of fact, I got to call and check on some people that are at home working. Yeah. So you guys enjoy your weekend. Be careful. Wear your mask. I know we're supposed to be going to phase 3 now. I don't know the whole details. I'm going to have to go look that up and find that information out. For us here in Louisiana, that's going to be good to a certain extent. But you guys make sure you take care of yourselves. Please take care of yourself. Please take care of yourself. Do what you have to do. Okay? So I'm going to say I hope I helped somebody today. I hope I encouraged somebody to go buy my book. I hope I encouraged somebody to not only go buy our book, but also I hope I was able to tell you guys to check out our website. I hope I was able to tell you to go check out our podcast. Okay? It's on You Can't Flip My Wings. Okay? So, you guys have a great evening. I love you. Love yourself. Tell yourself you love yourself every day. Get up in the morning, and you go to that mirror, and you brush your teeth, and you wash your face, say to yourself, you know what? I love you. Your family might think you're crazy, but that's all right. They'll understand why you're saying it, okay? Anyway, you guys have a great evening, and I'm going to get out of here. Don't forget, create your own story, okay? Nobody can create your story but you, okay? So you guys have a great evening, and I'm going to let you go.